And we're live. Good afternoon, everyone. And the reason why I am here is to discuss one of the most important topics in the law of assumption world, and that is EIYPO. Everyone is you pushed out. Another way of saying the same thing is all you see is yourself. So I want to give you a little story. Um, One night I had a horrible dream, and there were bad guys and good guys, and of course I was on the good guy side. I was probably a leader, and I woke up just shaking because it was so bad. It was just horrible. People were dying, animals were suffering, buildings were being destroyed, and um, did I? After I woke up, did I think that it was really happening? No. And besides that, everyone in your dream represents a state within you. One moment, please. Thank you, guys. I'm canning beans in the background, and that's that sputtering sound. Okay, um, you wouldn't call the cops on these guys in your dream, and you wouldn't want the FBI to get their facial features to go out and search for them, would you? No, because it's an illusion and it's all made up by your mind. And um, heaven knows what states they represented in you. I'm learning how to laugh at things. So the problem is that you think that when you wake up from a dream reality that you wake into reality, and you really don't. It's just another dream. Seems real. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. So take that to heart because it's true. I know it seems real, loves. I'm sitting at a solid table only because in my imagination it's solid. I believe it's solid. No one's going to tell me it isn't. And my hand is not going to go through it. So it's really tough to go from a belief that everything is real and there are people outside you and they do things to you and they're individuals to realizing that it's all a lie, all of it. You are living, quote unquote, inside a dream. You make with your imagination a three-dimensional virtual reality. And because you believe in what you make, it's real to you. It wouldn't be real to anyone else as much as it is to you. So I can kick and scream because of people being unfair to me, which I don't because they're not. If that's what I believed, but then the other person who would be witnessing to what was going on, they would say nothing really happened because in their reality it didn't. So everyone is you pushed out, meaning that you are expressing in your imagination outward in the reality of 3D into a person form in your reality that represents that state. And it's done so that you can see yourself. You cannot possibly see yourself without your brothers. And I use that term lightly because you don't see your brother, you see figments of your imagination. If you saw your brother, he would be illumined. And I've gotten really close to doing that. Um, so what do we do with all this? A lot of people use it as a battering ram against coaches. Okay, I kind of just say, talk to the hand. um, because I know where they're coming from, and it's ridiculous. Their ego is speaking through them. And yeah, mine speaks through me too. So EIYPO for me. And it's not used to attack others, it's not used as a battering ram on yourself. It is something that is extremely deep, and you sit with it and you work with it and you enable the messages to come to you regarding what those people, quote unquote, are representing to you. Um, I have a, a real broad spectrum of people who I deal with, and I have a wonderful carpet woven because of that, because of all my states. I don't let very many of my states get me down. Um, I don't react to them as much as I used to. And another way of saying the same thing is that you have a script written. Could be comedy, could be drama, could be trauma drama. I love those. And it's written by you every single second. The lines are changing as we're talking right here, and the script is going on in ad infinitum until you change scripts. And you have hired actors in your script playing the parts you give them. And those parts are solely for you to heal, for you to know who you are and are not. And who you are is you are love, created by love, in love, for love. And you stop right there. And I'd like you to write that down, carry that with you. And every time you get upset because of the actors in your script, I want you to read that to yourself. I'm going to repeat it again. You are love, created by love, in love, for love. And it's a beautiful kind of lullaby that I repeat when I'm having tough times, which are getting fewer and farther in between, which is wonderful. Um, we live in a mirrored universe. You cannot escape yourself. Um, and the mirrored universe sometimes shows you the joy that you are, the truth about you. And you would like to extend that. And I think that's wonderful. That's one of my goals too. And without having to change, I am fine the way I am. And I am every day. I really have an enjoyable time with people, and they're fantastic. And when I don't, I'm seeing an aspect of myself I needed to see. Um, this EIYPO, when we're just discussing it, you can nod your head and say, "Yeah, I see that." But when you're in a hot and heavy situation, confrontation, argument, discussion, whatever, it's really difficult for you to realize that all your arguing, it's called shadow boxing. Okay. A good friend of mine in A Course in Miracles uh, told me that. He's a professor, in fact. And, I called him one day. I said, blah, 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 blah. And I said, I'm shadow boxing, aren't I? He said, yep. And I laughed. And that's what we're doing. We're shadow boxing whenever we're arguing. We're shadow boxing whenever we're in a heated discussion with anybody. And you get someone in your life who you know damn well is very much like you with the same challenges, and you start arguing with them, you're slapping yourself. And I experienced this a lot. Janet Heffler Nevins and I are very much alike. We come from the same mindset. Oh my God. It's we have to laugh. We really do. Um, it's a joy to live with her and to build a life together. So with our four dogs and on our homestead, and now we're going to be doing gardening, vegetable gardening in boxes. So, because the landscaping came in a little too steep for our pocketbooks this year. We're going to have part of it done every year. So EIYPO, the gentleman who came to look at our our yard and give us an estimate, and I was speechless when he gave me the amount. I went, you know, EIYPO. He was me. He was a business person. He has expenses. He knows his job. I know my job. I know what it is to do each one of my three professions and my fourth involvement. And that those are my realms. And so I play the same part he does when someone asks me what the cost is. And I'm going to give an $1,100 cost to a client of mine, plus another 12, $1,400 for an additional fee. So, it can be a little steep sometimes to hire a professional, and I am a professional. Um, I also value the time element that I spend with people. And so in my coaching, I come in and I am pretty darn inexpensive because I want to be with you for a length of time because that's when the fun begins. The longer we work together, the more intense it gets. And I just, at about day 70, well, you might want to be wanting to slap the shit out of me. And I'm just giggling because I see the ego come up. So, and yes, EIYPO, all of my coaching clients are an image of me, and I love it. When I'm disagreeing with them, I can be shadow boxing, or I can be just fine. And that's an aspect of EIYPO you need to understand. Um, if you watch something happen, like a car crash, and the two people get out, thank God no one was hurt, and they are just yelling and screaming at each other. What is your experience of that interaction? That tells you EIYPO. Not just that you saw two people arguing, oh, I must be arguing within myself. No, no. If you were at peace, they didn't disturb your peace. You gave that peace to the situation. That's all you need to know. But just don't fool yourself, okay? There have been so many incidences throughout the years that I've watched happen that I stayed in peace and in love, and the EIYPO was just simply my acceptance and my love, and that's where you want to be. You want to be accepting of what's going on, not own it, not blame yourself for it, not say, oh gee, I projected that. Well, do you know really what's going on? You only see a small aspect of it. So there's two things. There's projection, and that comes from the thoughts of the ego: sin, guilt, fear, pain. And so when you express that out in 3D form, people, you might get hurt in an accident. Something will go wrong. Power will go out in the house. Um, I'm snickering because I have those issues sometimes, and in fact, a lot. I put too much onto the power grid, and it blows it. So, I mean, that's okay. I know how to, well, Janet, I called Janet, say, how do you fix this? But anyway, she is the expression of me knowing things that I don't know as Karen. And I know I can rely on her, like computer stuff and things like that. But anyway, going back to my example, I forgot where I was at. Oh, okay. When you project, It's like a hot potato. A thought of sin will hit you from the ego. Hi, Beverly. Sometimes there's just no reaction, just acceptance. I love that. Thank you, sweetheart. And so, what you do, because you don't want to keep a hold of the hot potato of guilt and sin, is you throw it out onto your world, and it's projected onto another person or persons, and you see it happening. And so, you actually aren't doing anything when you throw something out on your reality, and it's called projection. Then there's extension. Extension are is sharing God's truth, and it is joy and peace and serenity and personal integrity and taking action, because we live in a 3D world where action's necessary, and pet dogs who are bothering me. Um, she just wants up on my chair, and I'm not going to let her. So, and an extension, you talk about a virtual reality. We are living it, and for the most part, it's a nightmare for us to wake up from. God's voice is within each one of our bubbles, and it's asking us to wake up. And it whispers lovingly to us 24/7, 365. And it wants us to extend truth to a very mixed up world. And so the way EIYPO comes into play is glorious. And that is, your life starts being populated with actors who are helpful and loving and caring and happy, and they hug you when they see you. And when your reality shifts to that level, at first you might go, I don't know whether to trust this or not, but then you laugh, hopefully, and just surrender to it. And it is my life every day is filled with wonderful people, and I accept that, and I want even more of it. So let me see, what time is it? Okay, it's time to settle this now. Again, don't beat yourself up about EIYPO. Everyone is you pushed out, but do take it as law. There are no exceptions, none. And you live in a mirrored universe. You live in a mindal construct. It's a nightmare for the most part that you want to wake up from. And the way to wake up from that is to remember you are love, created by love, in love, for love. And that will start waking you up. Thank you for joining me today. And I appreciate you all very much. And you all are mirrors of me. I'm really happy for that. Thank you, loves. Bye bye now.